Hey shining stars, it is me, the Galactic Princess, aka Donnie J, and today I'm introducing a new game on the channel called Ebon Light. Ebon Light is about a human woman finds herself caught in the middle of elven secrets. She is torn from her home and taken to their stormy island, where she must contend with the bizarre poison in her body before it consumes her. Ebon Light is a dark fantasy visual novel, inspired by RPG-style storytelling. There are optional romantic subplots and many choices that influence the main character's personality as well as how the story is told. Ebon Light is by Underbliss, so shout out to Underbliss, and I'll make sure to leave the link down below so y'all can go check it out for yourselves. And without further ado, here's Ebon Light. But also make sure y'all tell me, am I saying that right? Am I saying that right? But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this gameplay. Okay, so I created my character. I named her Raven Sloan, and this is how she looks. I changed up her eye color, she has brown eyes and all that. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this actually. So I chose this name. I've been obsessed with this name because Raven Lene. I really like Raven Lene. She's a singer. I really love her songs, and yes, her songs are really good. I recommend definitely checking her songs out. So I named like a character in one of my books that I was gonna write and stuff, or maybe still gonna write after her. And I went on Reddit to ask for like middle names on one of those like name Reddits, and people got mad at the way I spelled Raven. They got really upset, and I was like, I don't care. They downloaded the heck out of me too. They got really upset. Why is it you always mention Reddit? Like the Euphoria Reddit is toxic. That name is toxic. So we're gonna go ahead and get started into this. So we get to choose a disposition. So we got charm, attractive and likable. We got cunning, clever and observant, and tendency, resilient and determined. This one I may choose charm, clever and observant. That was another one I like. Clever and observant. I'm very good, but I'm gonna choose cunning. Alright, let's get into this. I've seen this game before on itch.io, but I haven't checked it out. There was once a tomb that buried only the living. The people who built the tomb were plagued with a terrible affliction, but before the affliction could consume them, they sealed the plague away in the body of a creature. The creature itself was kind and gentle, so very much that in the great nobility of its heart, it had accepted its fate without complaint. But the people were afraid that one day the creature would escape from the tomb and the affliction would return. So they gathered their remaining warriors and they made their warriors into guardians. The guardians swore an oath that they would guard the creature for as long as there was need, even if that need should be endless. With the creature, they entered the tomb and sealed themselves within, unaware of what they had promised. Years stretched on, and the guardians stood vigil. The affliction no longer threatened the people. And so, as people often do, they forgot. But deep where the light could no longer reach, the warrior's conviction had begun to wane. Their vow had come with a terrible cost, and the task was simply too much to bear. For who truly comprehend the unending? Time had turned their duty into a torment, and they were consumed by desperation. They yearned for the light and the warmth of the sun, and they despised the darkness around them. With their desperation became rage. They betrayed the creature. They clawed out of the earth and were blinded by the sun, unaware that they had unleashed a forgotten affliction. Are you done? Yes. In Edric, stories are usually relished. What else is there to do with an idle mind? And what was I to take from this miserable little tale, Raven? Never trust anyone? Fools make foolish oaths. Darkness cannot be sealed away. Nothing. Just passing the time. Never trust anyone. Fools. Darkness cannot be sealed away. A terrible affliction. Contained? If every story I've ever heard is even the tiniest bit true, stuffing darkness under a rock never works. I see. You have much to do, Raven. Go on, get to work. You can reveal the quick menu here. Okay, I see. Like, we got settings, we got the auto forward, we got skip, I do believe, and compendium. Compendium? The sounds of the water sounds really nice. On my way into the village, I discovered the Edric had visitors. It is rare to see outsiders here, but these men were an exception. They came just often enough that we were no longer surprised by them. Most of the time, they kept to themselves. But even the friendliest of their number would grow evasive, choose words very carefully if asked too many questions. Luckily, for their dislike of meddling, we disliked change. We left each other be, and suited one another fine. As it would happen, I was caught in a conversation with one of our visitors, Ryland, a crew member of the Serpentine. The most beautiful ship man dared dream. Not that I had anything to compare with, nor the wish to disagree. What is it? Spice, my dear. But from where? Well, I'm not sure. You're not sure where you stole it? Can't you tell me anything about it? Well, then why should I care about it? Can't you tell me anything about it? Surely you have some idea. You remember when you got it, don't you? I remember when... Yes. But, well, I'm sure whatever you're imagining is far more exciting than the truth of it. Press the issue. Let him beg. Press issue. I really prefer to have at least a slight idea of what I'm getting when I trade. I realize this is an eccentric feat of mine. Oh my gosh. But bear with me. Bear with me with this reading. Yeah. Oh, surely you can guess at why it might be difficult to give me details. Why you might be better off not knowing. And that is exactly why I want to know where it came from. I don't know if I want to be involved in whatever this is. Calm down, it's nothing that scandalous, my dear. It's just spice, a modest amount at that. I obtained it along with a few other mundane trinkets. Besides, do you really care where I got it? Well, no. Yes! Okay, we'll just take it. Well, you have a point. I thought so. So, did we have a deal? Rylan wanted to trade his mystery pouch of spice for a few of the ramps I gathered in my pack. It was an unusual opportunity, but I had no room for frivolousness. Everything we foraged was accounted for, and everything we lost an empty belly. And there's Rylan to consider, of course. He's an entirely chaotic element of his own. A sailor, charming enough now. And while I've never seen him do anything suspicious, his idea of haggling is probably still a kill. Try to have brief trade. Decline. I want to see you in this. Agree. Rylan, you have a deal. Wonderful. Rylan turned to leave. Oh, shoot. Rylan, you're leaving so soon? I did not get to see that. Let me go back. Nope. Okay. Itching for stories, aren't you? Well, yes. Of course. You already told me that. Alright. I can make a bit of time. Which story shall I tell? The places you've seen, the might of the sea, something rare and beautiful? Something rare and beautiful. You want to be charmed, is it? You want a captivating tale of allure. Alright, let's try a classic. You know what a mermaid is. A mermaid? A woman who's part of fish. Yes, that's it. You hear about mermaids up and down the coast. Every other little village has their own particular tale. Usually their own particular description of what goes where to. You hear stories of mysterious, crazy things all the time, and you learn to ignore most of it, but you also learn to keep your eyes open, because every now and then the stories are true. One night, the ship was headed home to Lalari. The sea is calm, the moon is bright and heavy. So calm, so bright, and so heavy that it was kind of strange. The oldest of the crew got antsy and began pacing the deck, fidgeting and twitching. Couldn't keep their eyes off the water. I thought something was wrong with them, but that was the day I learned to respect my elders. It was the rest of us that were wrong. A pair of old men rushed past me and shoved me aside. So I spin around to see what they're doing. They're looking over the deck, down into the water. So do I, too. And I see dozens of faces staring right back. The old men started raving, screaming, shaking. I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but determined to be hollering loud as they could all the while. The rest of us were just staring at the faces, all just barely under the surface of the water, large eyes twinkling in the moonlight, unblinking, focused. They never surfaced. They stayed for hours, and then just before sunrise, they all sunk deeper into the water till we couldn't see them anymore. In unison, like a pod, maybe more like a swarm. That sounds scary, huh? Beautiful, though. Never heard of anything like that happening anywhere, and I doubt it will ever happen again, and if they weren't the most captivating faces. Are you, sure that all actually happened? Mostly sure. If it was some kind of dream, or a drunken visage, I'm not the only one who had it. Well, there's your story, my dear. Goodbye, and see you tomorrow. That was a really beautiful story. I like that. It got me all like captivated, like interested. Aunt Vanya? No one answered back. Our hut was humble, though I understood this only in the way that I understood elsewhere. People kept massive fields with servants and livestock. But everywhere else, it was everywhere else. Here in Edric, our hut was something to be proud of. No reason to feel shame or envy. Anvenia was, in fact, very proud of our hut. But looking at it, the only thing I could see was the fence in need of mending. It had been threatening to give way for weeks, though nothing new. I had been in one state of despair or another since I was a child. Do we get a this? Oh, I see. Okay, so we got vice, we got daring, amity, inertia, faith, charity, might, rest, cunning, curiosity, charm, tenacity. Okay. Oh, we can change our clothes and stuff? Okay. We gotta unlock that first. Lore. Okay, so the Serpentine. The Lalari. Mateship was once a duke's vessel, and by all accounts, every nefarious secret the black ship holds is a product of a man far more wicked than any pirate. Immunity of the most unexpected sort occurred shortly after the Serpentine first set voyage. A small minority overpowering the more heavily armed majority, defying nearly every prediction of failure. The small band of marauders doubled in number overnight and tripled before the Serpentine's ducal commissioner could form a response. The Duke's interest in recapturing her mysteriously vanished as the Serpentine began making a name for itself up the Lalari coast. Okay, so that's interesting. So we get to learn about the mermaids too. Okay, so the mermaids all across the coast of the Pillar Ocean, tales of mermaids spring, each with varying credibility and frequency. But in Lalari, the tales are infrequent, yet eerily consistent. First a heavy moon, then a raving madness striking those at a later age, and finally the faces under the water. All of the alleged encounters with Lalari mermaids have been peaceful, at least on behalf of the mermaids. One survivor of Fate's spell claimed his crewmen, in a raving panic, jumped in the water and attempted to tackle the mermaids. He alleged the mermaids quickly disappeared and under the water, but his crew, so intent on striking them down, followed and drowned. The survivor was 12 years old, the youngest aboard Fate's spell. Places, so Edric. This is where we're living. Edric was found in 1002. Okay. 10,000. Okay, y'all. Alright, the population rose above 50 for the first and last time, coming and going with the final wave of refugees to escape the capture of Calixon. Deep in the burned woods, Edric is naturally secluded, and though this had initially been a boon to the founding settlers, the seclusion is also what drove most away. What remains of Edric is the quiet, simple, hardworking people who survive on the limited bounty of their hidden world. Edric is free of political and natural threat, though with the woods difficult and fickle and the soil rocky and stubborn, it is far from an isolated paradise. The village of Edric has no formal leadership, and this small community has maintained itself with relative peace. Quarrels are handled privately, successful for the understanding that making an enemy of yourself within a small community would prove far too costly. There is little disparity among the Edge, as hoarding resources is exceptionally difficult and often fruitless. I had to take a drink of water. That was a lot. So we got people now. So we got to meet Rylan. So if if you want to go ahead and read all this. I got Venya. So which you haven't seen Venya, so let's go ahead and if you want to go ahead and pause and read any of that, so you can. Or I can come back and read it at some point. Alright. Kick it. Try to fix it for the 30-second time. Ignore it. Try to fix it. I looked about for something heavy and found a rock. There was a soft ruffling of leaves from somewhere behind me. What are you doing? Hello, Aunt Venya. You startled me. What are you? None of your business. None of your business. Where were you? I wasn't doing anything yet. I just got home. Where were you? I was foraging in the east by the burned wood. Why are you home so early? I had a lucky day. Shara took all the ramps bright and early. Yeah, well, then let's see if your luck holds. Switch packs with me and finish the foraging. What? That's not fair? Save your breath. I have business village tonight and my back is already sore. Then I'll go. You're lying. What business do you have in the village? I don't care. What business do you have in the village? I think my headphones are falling out of my thing. Business? What do you possibly want in the village? You hate going into the village. We do things we hate when they're necessary, don't we? What are you going to do? I don't have time to chat, Raven. Neither do you. Not with a whole forest to forage. So far, the foraging was uneventful. I had my sickle, some mostly empty packs, and a few unimpressive roots that probably should have stayed in the ground a couple more weeks. The forest was warm today, and the warmth felt nice against my skin. I had a right to complain about the added foraging, but if I was honest, the solitude was nice enough that I was enjoying myself. But I knew the burned forest well. There was little I would find worth foraging today. Keep foraging, explore, relax. Let's explore. Though I knew where the woods kept its berries and roots, and though I had explored what seemed to be every tree and every rock since I was young, I also knew that the forest could never be fully explored. Yeah, I want to explore. I want to see what we can find. The sun was falling. It was time to go home. What was that? Yeah, what was that like? Try to climb the tree. Try to knock it down with a rock. Let's try to climb the tree. I hadn't climbed a tree in ages. Oh jeez, hi. Who's there? No one answered. I was sure I'd seen someone. I ran home. Yeah, I would have been like, you disappear out there. It reminds me of that one, Wendy Williams. Who was that? When I made it home, I found Venya gone. For once, I missed her terribly. It's not as though our hut offered much safety, not from people. Foreigners did not come to Edric. So this is like, not, this is kind of creepy. Raven. On Venya, what's gotten into you? There was someone in the woods. Was there? A person. A man. I think dark clothes. A man in dark clothes. Perhaps it was Boris. No. I called out and he didn't respond. No longer alone, I began to feel a bit calmer. Though I was still pretty terrified. I was actually very curious. I was ready to defend myself. I was actually very curious. If it was a stranger, where might he have come from? And why? Except for Rylan and his crew. Ah, the pirates are in Edric. Then that's probably what you saw. A pirate. But he didn't look like a sailor. Pirate. And what does a sailor look like? Pray tell. Well, alright, suppose that makes as much sense as anything. No, I was kidding. I guess it kind of is. But in that case, a pirate was stalking me out in the woods and hid when I spotted him. Hmm. My aunt handed me a warm cup. Here. It smells sweet. Well, don't get used to it. The sweetness lasted only a minute once on the tongue. The drink had an aftertaste that was quite bitter. Not exactly unpleasant, but strange. I found myself lost in the effort to identify the taste. After I drunk it all, I finally asked, "What did you put in it?" "Some of that spice." "Some what?" "Ryland spice. You just put it in my drink?" It smelled like it would be good for it. You seem to have agreed. Drink it all without complaint. But I was going to. A hot drink always calmed me down. This is the thanks I get? Unbelievable. A stalker, an aunt who puts unidentified spice in my drinks without telling me, and an indefensible hunt. I went to bed in a foul mood. I fell asleep quickly, quicker than usual. Where is it? Unfortunately, I didn't wake gently. You going mad on me, girl? Not just yet. Perhaps, perhaps. Well, it's certainly possible. Where is what? Huh? She stayed silent for a moment. I don't know. You're the one who said it. I suppose I was dreaming. Everything's certainly been strange lately. I've not forgiven you. I think I'll ask Rylan about the man in the forest. I wonder what I was dreaming. I wonder what I was dreaming. I don't usually talk in my sleep, do I? Do you think that if you did, you still have a cot next to mine? My loving aunt. Well, everyone has a weird night of sleep from time to time. I'll be gone then. Get your work done, Raven. You're leaving? Yeah. Not much choice. Starving is the worst kind of death. She left promptly, gone before I was even fully awake. I stared after her for a few moments, as I realized I need to go back into the forest myself. She was right. Starving is the worst kind of death. And if you don't forage today, you don't eat tomorrow. Besides, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little curious. Alright, y'all, so I am going to end it here. This will be the first part of Ebon Light, y'all. It has me like really hooked. I'm excited to see, like, are we gonna see the man again or the person in the woods again? I am very, very curious to see that. And yeah, and I'm curious to see the next, like, little parts as well. So I just want to say thank y'all for coming on this journey with me, and I'm gonna go to bed now, and I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you later. Bye, y'all.